And Martha was, talking about my book and how excited she was. And Snoop was like, wait, a book of salads? That's what I need. And I was like, really? I've never really seen you eat a salad. And he's like, come on, a Cobb salad? It's got all the good stuff in it.
You're listening to the Taste Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Rodbard. She calls herself the Bob Ross of salads, and for very good reason. Jess Damuck is the salad freak behind the new cookbook, Salad Freak, and a really fun guest on the show today. We, of course, get into the X's and O's of salad making, but also find out a bit about her journey, which included working very closely with Martha Stewart for over a decade. This is such a fun conversation, and I hope you enjoy getting to know Jess Damuck a bit. Jess Damuck, welcome to the Taste Podcast.
Thanks so much for having me.
We're talking Salad Freak. Where did that name come from? I mean, it's like truly, of a busy season of many cool cookbook titles, it is my favorite cookbook title.
You know what? It started as a joke. The title was, kind of the last thing to be figured out for the book. And my agent said, I'm just thinking of all the great book titles. And she's like, Dessert Person. That was such a great title. I wish we could think of something like short and to the point like that and catchy. And she's like, I don't know. My friends call me a salad freak, but that can't be the title. And as soon as I said it out loud to somebody else, my boyfriend was like, I mean, that's the title of the book. Are you kidding me? Like,
it happened. I mean, those kind of like serendipitous, like, brainstorms, word salads, pun intended, are great ways to come up with things, right?
Yeah.
In creative worlds.
We were just like thinking so hard and like, throwing out a million things. And it was this thing that just kind of came off the top of her head that worked out. But, I wasn't sure if I was ready to become the salad freak.
Right.
I was worried. And then, my boyfriend's like, oh, you have to get the whole Freak franchise started. And I was like, I don't know.
God, geez.
I don't know about that.
Exhausting.
I was like, I think that I truly am a salad freak.
I feel like the original salad freak, not to like divert away from your ownership because you are the salad freak, is like Paul Newman.
Right.
Paul Newman's got to be a salad freak, right?
I mean, he had to be.
I mean, I feel like there's a lot of salad freaks in the world, but I love your book. Like the
Thank
book
you so much.
It's one of my favorites of the season. I've cooked from it. I think I pickled some chive blossoms as an idea this past spring that you presented to me. And
amazing.
Loved it. Let's talk about Martha Stewart because honestly, that's kind of the way you've entered kind of my universe. Originally was through your work with Martha Stewart. We published all of her books here. I think we've had like 50 books. I've lost count. Is that about?
It's something around there at this point. It's amazing.
It's incredible. So like, what's the origin story? How did you enter Martha's orbit? And you are like Martha's personal salad chef.
I've always been a huge Martha fan. I'm a Martha freak as well as a salad freak. And really that was one of my big gateways into cooking. When I was in middle school and high school, I'd look at Martha Stewart Living and I'd try to make all of my family's holiday dinners look as much as I could like Martha. I love the idea of entertaining and having dinner parties and really just followed her super closely and had all of her cookbooks. And I went to college for pre-med and I was studying to be an orthopedic surgeon and cooking a lot and still really loving it, still having my friends over for dinner. And I decided one day, I can't do this. Like, I want to cook. Mm-hmm. And my parents weren't super excited about that idea at first. But I went to the French Culinary Institute and applied for an internship at Martha. It was for Everyday Food at the time, her little digest magazine. And the person who interviewed me had seen my little food blog and saw that my kitchen was just filled with all of Martha's books.
Nice.
And she was like, you're the right person for this job. So I started interning there, and I think I interned for like at least a year and a half, if not longer, while going to school in the evenings. And from intern, it kind of went to freelancer and then eventually food editor. and then culinary producer, and then just kind of working one-on-one with Martha.
So you went through the traditional steps. You went from intern all the way up to like on Martha's hip for like important projects, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So, and then, after I left the magazine and I was doing all video content, and after video content, I was really working on all of her TV shows, which was so much fun.
I mean, I have to mention Hacks. I'm not sure if you've seen the TV show.
I have.
I feel like I have to like draw some parallels in my brain, at least between the characters in Hacks and you and Martha. Are you with Martha on buses and in green rooms, getting the side of Martha that I think everybody wants?
I think everybody's starting to get it a little bit through her Instagram.
Yes, totally.
But yes, she is. Everyone's always surprised. She's the funniest person I know. Like, she is just, her sense of humor is incredible. She's brilliant and hilarious.
Yeah.
And it's, I've obviously learned so much about cooking and getting stains out of my clothes and gardening and everything else. But like getting to know her sense of humor and her personality beyond what was traditionally shown on television
Absolutely
has been
brilliant.
Such a gift.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So like I have to ask you, what did you teach her? Because you must have taught her something, if not like how to log into Instagram.
Well, I taught her what Spa Castle was.
In Jersey?
The one in Queens.
Oh my goodness.
She was horrified when I told her about it.
You actually did not go to Spa Castle?
I've gone. Yeah, I
with
didn't
Martha.
go with her.
Okay.
No, I told her what it was, and she was like, I was like, and there's a giant hot tub on the roof. And she's like, in Queens?
To clarify, Spa Castle is a Korean spa that has locations in Jersey and Queens, and it is awesome.
Yeah,
it
it's
is
amazing.
A fun place to hang out.
But besides that, I think I've introduced her to a few things. She was on an episode of High Maintenance with me, which was so fun. She loves just being involved with whatever she can that's new and cool and exciting. And she's so open-minded and curious. So she's always asking questions. And
yeah. So you taught her Spa Castle. You taught her what else? There's got to be one other thing. You must have taught her at least something about the modern-ish world. She's plugged, obviously, but man, you're a little more plugged in to some things.
Sometimes she just Googles things after she talks to me.
Yeah.
Her assistant will be like, "Oh, well, she looked up who that person was,"
Yeah.
or I got Benny Blanco on her radar.
Dope.
So yeah.
And you're working with Benny. Benny's your buddy.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
like my best friend out in LA, and he's my cooking buddy for sure. We're making dinners together like at least once or twice a week.
Real star turn on this show, Dave. Just have to say, Benny on the show, Dave, was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to him. Let's talk about the salad spinner, because I feel like I love mine. I love mine so much, and I want to know if you are also a fan of the salad spinner, or if there's an alternate way to.
No, I think it's like the essential tool for salad making. There's nothing worse than if you've spent all of this time making a salad and you take the first bite and there's like sand in it.
Sand,
Yeah.
water. I mean, there's so many things the salad spinner gets rid of.
Yeah, and it just, I find the process of washing lettuce like pretty relaxing
Sure.
and meditative, but like also I realize if you're doing it in any other way than using a salad spinner, it's going to take too long.
Yeah.
It makes, quick work out of it. And especially, it also kind of serves as a storage vessel. If you have that much room in your fridge, it's like the perfect environment for storing lettuce.
Oh, that's how I use it. I store my lettuce in the basket. The basket goes in the fridge.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I have my OXO salad spinner. I'm obsessed with that one. But I think if you're into making salads, you have to have a salad spinner.
Tell me about the words like salad freak. Let's dive into what makes a salad freak, because I want to talk about your book a bit. But what is a salad freak?
It's funny. I thought I didn't feel like I was alone in it, but when I started the process of making this book, it was like, oh, salads might be a hard sell. People like comfort food, people like this, people like that. It's going to be hard to convince people to get excited about salads. And I was like, well, that's my mission here. I love everything I eat, I think, is a salad. And that really came from cooking with Martha so much and just, having access to like the best produce and local and super seasonal stuff and eating mostly produce with a little bit of protein. And I think that's kind of my definition of a salad. And that's how I like to eat everything on one plate or one bowl and just have my whole meal right there.
Yeah.
I'm like not so worried about making side dishes and appetizers and all of these things. Like it's perfect to just have your whole meal right there.
I love it, and I feel like Sweetgreen. I mean, this is not sponsored by Sweetgreen, but the company Sweetgreen, the brand, you may have seen it in your town, has helped everyone think about salad as not just a side, but the entree.
I mean, their salads are so filling.
Yeah.
It's like I have to come back and revisit it like a second time that day if I get it for lunch.
Definitely. I mean, that's a lot of chewing, first off.
It's a lot of kale.
A lot of kale. I go with the beets recently with kind of the tabletop cut, like the chips.
I always go with the shroomami.
It's a good one, man.
Which the name is also
Yeah.
amazing. I have a couple of friends who are DJs who are like, we're going to see if we can just like, it's a good DJ name, DJ Shroomami.
Yeah, well, we're not sponsored by Sweetgreen. There's a lot of other salad bar restaurants, and even salad bars in some towns.
Which proves that people actually are excited about salads, and just the response with the book has been incredible. I've had so many people, send me messages on Instagram being like, I'm such a salad freak too, or I'm, so excited to see this other like community of salad lovers out there.
Were you a Pizza Hut buffet salad bar combo 1-2 person growing up?
I grew up on Shelter Island,
Yeah.
so I wasn't really around a lot of fast food.
Yeah.
It's not that I never went to Pizza Hut, but
Of course not.
Sometimes.
You are a human. You went to Pizza Hut.
Yeah, exactly. But a lot of salads. My mom would always make like a mesclun green salad with chopped up little baby carrots and like Italian dressing from the bottle and like maybe some sunflower seeds.
I still go there.
Yeah.
I go there. My wife Tamar does the chops of the baby carrots. I'm not big. I like the shred more than the chop.
Yeah.
Personally, let's talk about mistakes because I think our listeners are going to be interested in some of the like easy mistakes or the mistakes that can be made like really easily made from a home cook when you're making a salad. So what are some of those mistakes that we can avoid?
I think we talked a little bit about the first one, which is not cleaning your lettuce properly. So your salad spinner is going to take care of that, and it's going to dry the lettuce, which that's another thing. Dressing is not going to stick to wet leaves, so you want to make sure your lettuce is nice and dry before you dress it. Maybe on the same level is overdressing a salad. An overdressed salad is not delicious. It's either going to be like super soggy. You're not going to be able to taste any of the ingredients in it. I don't think it looks as nice.
No, and you really aren't serving salad a la minute typically. I mean, in your world you are, of course, but you're usually letting that salad chill on your table while you're finishing the rest of the meal up, especially if it's like a dinner party. So too much dressing makes it soggy, and people kind of just like forget about right?
Totally. And the truth is, when I'm serving like a creamy vinaigrette on the salad, instead of tossing it and having it, I mean, it's so like heavy, it will weigh everything down immediately, and like it gets soggy so fast and sort of looks, it's hiding all of these beautiful colors and shapes and things going on in the salad. So I usually serve it on the side.
Yeah.
And just let people put a little on their plate and then drizzle the dressing on top, and then it, takes care of.
I was talking to
all of
Allison
that.
Roman recently about as you will, salad dressing came up, and I want to talk to you about the idea of like that you said, like serve it on the side. I think that's a very smart. Tossing a salad with dressing is kind of a mistake. But what about like acid to the oil fat ratio? Are you leaning like much more acid?
I really, really like bright flavors
Sure.
and acidic flavors. I think that's why I'm so drawn to salads.
Yeah.
I play around with it. It really, really depends. I'm also a big fan of using two different types of acid.
Yeah.
So maybe something like a lower acid vinegar, like a white balsamic with a little bit of lemon to kick it up.
Wow, that sounds great.
Yeah, it sort of like hits your tongue at different points. So you're still getting that like little pinch in the back of your cheeks, but it's not totally overwhelming.
So smart, because I think lemon juice is so overpowering when it's just, that's it. It's so lemon forward.
Exactly. And then, I love white balsamic because it gives you that nice natural sweetness, so you don't have to add sugar or honey or anything. But I really encourage people to experiment. In the back of my book, I have like a rough equation for making dressings and different ideas of what you can add. But there are so many amazing vinegars available now. There are so many little artisanal vinegar makers, and just even in a regular grocery store, there's more options than ever. Yeah. So I think once you start getting into it, it's like the possibilities are endless.
I distracted us a bit from the mistakes. Was there another mistake that is made? Overdressing. We talked about somebody's going maybe a little too oil-centric. Any other mistakes?
Something people ask me all the time that I don't think is a mistake, if that's okay.
Let's flip, yeah.
Is everybody's like, oh, well, you probably never buy packaged lettuce. Like, you must think that that's terrible. And I don't. I think that there's, I think that sometimes that's all that's available.
Yeah.
And it's already washed, so you don't have to worry about that. It saves time. Sometimes it's the freshest option, depending where you are. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it. So, yeah, I'm not a lettuce snob necessarily.
No, and you shouldn't be. And also, if you buy a triple wash, pre-washed lettuce, you don't have to add water to it, which is like once you add water to lettuce, it's like such a challenge to get to that perfect level where it's not wet. I mean, the salad spinner, of course, is great, but man, you don't always have a salad spinner.
Totally.
I'm all about those boxes of lettuce. Let's talk about a few. We've had the Caesar, right? We've had Green Goddess. We've had these two dressings that have hit the zeitgeist or whatever, whatever we'll call it, the mainstream. So, Jess, what's the next flavor that's going to hit big like Green Goddess?
Something that I've seen beginning to pop up quite a bit is like a classic Italian chopped salad, either with a Italian vinaigrette or like a creamy Italian with some like Parmesan or something in there. And I don't know, I feel like every time I see somebody's photo of a chopped salad on Instagram, I get hungry immediately. Yeah, I think that's a great one too, because it involves like so many things you might already have on hand in your fridge. You can throw olives in there if you have jarred artichokes or peppers or pickles or whatever you've got. You can
you have cheese, you might have some charcuterie or some meat, and really that is the salad as main option. So you're saying creamy Italian / creamy vin. What's the cream element then in there?
My secret ingredient for creamy dressings is always mayo.
Right on.
It's like the best because you don't have to add. Sometimes you don't even have to add extra oil because you've already got it in there. It's dairy-free, which is nice. And it's not, I don't know, it doesn't offer the tang that buttermilk does, but it offers a richness that is hard to replicate.
Is there a mayonnaise brand that you feel is great for salads? I'm putting you on the spot.
That's okay. I have in all caps in the book, I wrote that every recipe I developed was using Hellmann's or Best Food mayo. I've also been recently introduced to Duke's, which has a very similar neutral flavor.
Yeah.
But I think, a lot of these fancy brands out there or the generic brands in stores, they just have a little taste.
Were you in the American South?
No.
Duke's just landed in L.A. at your home?
Benny introduced me.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, that one, I think when you're introducing other flavors to it, you want something really neutral. So those are my
great
go-to
tips, Jess. I appreciate it. And any listener to Taste Podcast knows that we have an unhealthy obsession with ranch dressing. We talk about it a lot. We put it on pizza. I mean, it's boring. I'm sorry, a listener. But I have to ask you, where do you stand on ranch on an actual salad?
I love it.
Perf.
Yeah.
We're good. We're friends. Good.
Yes.
We're good.
Snoop Dogg's salad in the book has ranch dressing. He wanted a homemade ranch, so he got it. And it's perfect. It's creamy, it's tangy, a little zesty. And it is one of those things where, like, sometimes I'm like, I want Hidden Valley. Like, I don't want I don't always want a homemade one. Sometimes it's nice to have that bottled ranch dressing.
Can I say Hidden Valley's too sweet for me?
Yeah?
I taste some kind of artificial sweetener.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, you clearly are pro Hidden Valley. I like that. Can I do something to it to make it like a little kind of like Dr.?
Well, I found when I was trying to make my own for Snoops that would taste, ranchy enough, not too fancy. What I found is doing a combination of buttermilk, a little white vinegar, but the essential thing was garlic powder.
That adds that allium kind of bite.
Yeah. Fresh garlic doesn't give you, it's not the same thing. It's like garlic powder is a specific, like, toned down, but, garlic without the crazy bite to it.
I'm scared to microplane raw garlic into salad dressings. I'm scared of it.
It's too much. It's really... Martha never likes raw alliums in her dressing.
Martha's wise.
So whatever Martha says goes for me.
My dad was a salesman, and he just never ate raw alliums, just out of habit. Even when he wasn't on the clock, it just kind of ruins your day.
It's a lot. It's intense, especially when there's not a lot of other cooked things going. It's really intense on a salad. Sometimes I like to just crush a garlic clove and soak it in the vinegar for a few minutes while I'm prepping the rest of the ingredients and then take it out. So there's, again, a little hint of garlic, but it's not like going to knock out the person you're talking to.
I like the two low-key Snoop Dogg references. I mean, that's pretty great. You worked with Snoop on some TV stuff. Is Snoop, what's he eating these days? Like, he's extremely in shape. He looks great.
I was so surprised. I had never really seen him eat a salad.
Yeah.
I once fed him a crouton that like totally blew his mind.
Huh.
But, he and Martha have this wonderful kind of competitive friendship.
Yeah.
And Martha was, talking about my book and how excited she was. And Snoop was like, wait, a book of salads? That's what I need. And I was like, really? I've never really seen you eat a salad. And he's like, come on, a Cobb salad? It's got all the good stuff in it. And he starts listing everything. And then he goes, and nacho chips. And I was like,
okay.
Wait, what? And then he was like, yeah, I like blue corn tortilla strips on my Cobb salad. And it's genius.
Talk about the Sweet Green playbook.
Yeah.
I mean, the guacamole greens. God, we are referencing Sweet Green too much on here. They need to pay us at least $1. Guac greens always has those chips in it.
I think
great.
it's so important to have, you need crunch.
I agree fully. Let's talk about cooking salads. Can you have a hot salad? Is it possible? Like a hot leafy salad? Can you do that?
I have some in the book, so I'm going to say yes.
I know you do. So tell me, I guess my question was like, day-old salad, do you go hot with it, or is hot salad its own thing?
I think hot salad's kind of its own thing. Like in the book, I have like sautéed Swiss chard over a little bit of yogurt with an egg on it for breakfast. Is it really a salad? Who's to say? I say it is. Or a salad pizza that, gets a big pile of escarole on top and then thrown underneath the broiler. I think it's delicious. Grilled romaine had its moment a while ago.
I mean, we're still living in the grilled romaine moment right now, personally.
Why not? Yeah. It's delicious. I have something I call a sheet pan salad that is like, just any vegetables I have in the fridge with a couple pieces of chicken sausage, and then I just throw it over whatever greens I happen to have. And that's what I eat at least once a week for dinner.
Let's go through this. This is so smart. Salad Freak, check the book. It's great. You're taking a sheet pan. You're putting all those greens that are like maybe just at the end of their life. You're chopping up some chicken sausage. What else is going on the sheet pan?
My favorite combination is sweet potatoes and broccoli, which are two things I usually have in my fridge.
Yeah.
They both last a long time if they're like forgotten about. If I have some shallots, maybe I'll roast a few of those, or carrots instead of sweet potatoes or regular potatoes. But usually like something green and a root vegetable.
You toss it with oil? A little bit of oil? Yeah.
Yeah. And for a while I was experimenting with the air fryer.
Yeah.
Which also works really well.
We've all dabbled. We've all had our experimentation phase with the air fryer. It's like college for some people. We just experiment.
Yeah. It's funny. Being a salad person, I eat a lot of olive oil.
Yeah.
And a few friends and I did like a healthy eating challenge in January, and everybody's like, "You're just eating salads. Like, how are you gonna? You're already eating so healthy." And I was like, "I think I might eat like a half a cup of olive oil a day. Like, drizzle I'm very generous with my olive oil." And I was like, I think I'll just like try the air fryer just for like a month and see what it's like. And it's crazy.
I like it. It's a great piece of equipment. It's great if you don't have like gas or you just have a plug. If you're like on the road, the air fryer is great. Let's talk about olive oil. Have you ever messed with Grazza?
Yes,
brand?
I love Grazza.
Yeah, I feel like we haven't mentioned the Taste Podcast. I the squeeze bottle product. I love Grazza.
I think it also tastes really good.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons I like to recommend it is because, there's so many types of olive oil available now. And when you get to the aisle in the store, it's like, if people ask me, what do you want to look for? And it's like single origin is the most important thing.
Yep.
Most olive oils are blends. You have no idea what's in there really. And, then besides looking for a single origin oil, I like to suggest having a cooking oil and a finishing oil. And Grazza has these two products available that are both single origin. They're both really tasty, and it takes all of the guesswork out of it. Plus, there's this subscription, which is like makes it even easier. And if you go through as much oil as I do, it's nice to have it just come to your
see, that's what I'm
house.
thinking too. Like, I feel like I have my brands that I get at the grocery store, but I also like Grazza, which arrives as a sub. Again, not a paid sponsor. I just love that product. So glad you're into it.
Yeah, it tastes, especially with an oil for making vinaigrettes, it's not that you want something neutral, but you want something kind of light and fruity that's going to play well with other flavors. And theirs works really well. I also love California olive oil. The All California
the ranch
blend is another good one that is available.
That's the one
everywhere.
I use. Usually go with the All California blend, a little more expensive than like the Greece Spain blend, but I like that one. Can we talk overrated, underrated, just quickly?
Yeah.
What's the most overrated salad? Let's go.
Wedge.
Yeah. It's just not healthy. In a weird way. This isn't like a health fucking podcast, but like it just isn't. It's just too much.
It's also the dressing is not distributed properly. Like, I like the idea of it, but what you kind of have to do if you're going to make it really delicious is separate the leaves of iceberg and like get a little dressing in the cracks, because otherwise it's just like, a scoop on top, and then you have it's a little hard to, I don't know. It's not my favorite. I do have a wedge in the book because I had a friend who really loves wedges, and I did some things to it to make it something that I really like. But yeah.
Underrated. Let's go there. Underrated salads. A salad that maybe it's a combination. Maybe it's an actual like proper noun named after an old hotel or dead person salad.
I had a moment in the book of just like, oh, you know what gets skipped over all the time? Just a mixed green salad.
Yeah. Like
just some beautiful greens with a very simple vinaigrette, and I put a little crunchy shallots on top of mine. I think so often in both books and magazines, and probably TikTok and everywhere else too, we forget about the basics.
Yeah.
But you know what? Like, if no one's showing you how to make a really, really good mixed green salad, you're not going to just know. So I like to appreciate that too, because there are some really beautiful mixed greens available in stores and at your farmer's market, and it's a really nice way to use them.
It's 2 ingredients too. I mean, it's vinaigrette plus greens, and you don't have to overthink the maximalist approach to salad making, which sometimes is not what you need if it's like the 4th item on your table.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's talk about to make a great salad, I need to buy this plus this plus this plus this. I'm like, this is not math. We're not doing math. But like, are there like 4 things? And like, I'm going to say like a tool, an ingredient, a combination of all of this.
Okay. So the first thing is Well, I was going to say something green, but not every salad
Yeah.
in the book is something green. But really, one piece of produce you really want to highlight, whether it's, arugula or like a peach. I like to kind of focus on one thing that's going to be like the star of the dish. Next thing is something crunchy. I think almost every salad I want to eat at least has either a nut or a seed or a crisped up shallot or something that you can add that's going to play around with texture a little bit. Almost every salad you'll need a knife to cut it.
Yep.
I like a santuku blade for cutting vegetables, especially if you're like just getting started working on your knife skills. It has a nice flat blade. And
Santukus are forgiving.
Yeah.
I agree fully. I like that blade a lot.
Yeah.
It's great.
We talked about the salad spinner already, which is a good one. We talked about olive oil, which you're definitely going to need. And you don't always need vinegar. Sometimes just a lemon.
Yeah. But I like this white balsamic lemon combination.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Okay, so you're living in LA mostly, and I love LA. We talk about it a lot on the show. It's a great city for many reasons, but it seems like it's a really fun time right now to be like a quote unquote food person in LA because like you have a lot of friends who are in the industry, and I feel like maybe even 5 years ago it wasn't like that cool to be a food person, but like right now, cool is I hate that word, but like it's got to be fun to be in the conversation with so many different people being a food creator, cookbook author in Los Angeles right now.
Yeah, and the thing that's really fun for me is there's space to feed people. Like I have a dining room table, which is something I did not have in New York. I had a large coffee table where I still, made that work to have a few friends over, but to have, a table that 6 or 8 people can be sitting around is an amazing gift. To be able to have a backyard where even in, the height of COVID, I could have people over to feed them. That has been amazing. Creating a community around, enjoying food together has really been such an amazing experience. And there are so many, super talented people out there right now and just, people in other industries who are super passionate about food.
Yeah.
And it's been really fun to be exposed to some new ideas and God, the produce.
I was gonna say, like, you've got the produce and the produce, but like it really is true. Like you've got produce all the time in LA, and you can always cook from the markets because between Santa Monica and Hollywood, you've got like incredible markets there.
And I have a really big garden in the backyard. I left 25 tomato plants at home, which has been added a whole different level of appreciation for these ingredients.
Yeah. Your partner's Ben Sinclair from the show High Maintenance. Big fan of the show. Lots of food in the show. Are you collaborating with him at all on any shows? Because I feel like the crossover is going to happen.
We work a lot together on different things. We certainly work together on every party we have at our house. It's a beautiful combination of personalities, and he entertains everybody while I'm still wrapping up in the kitchen, and he's an essential part to the whole vibe we kind of create together. And I think we inspire each other's work a lot. Are we working on something together? Not right now.
Dinner Party has been optioned by Hulu, and it'll be on in 2020. I'm just kidding.
But it's really nice to, obviously both be creative people in different fields, but be able to inspire each other so much.
I love it. This has been such a great conversation. We ask all guests on the Taste podcast if you could write a cookbook or food culture book without the burden of budget, meaning you have unlimited money, or the burden of time, meaning you have unlimited deadline, what would that book be?
I am, really convincing everybody that I should be writing it right now. It's been going on in the back of my mind for a while. But, the thing I love most is dinner parties. I have worked with Martha for over a decade, and, I feel like that's I've had a really unique opportunity to learn so much from her. But also, I'm living in a different world than she came up in. So I have my own take on entertaining and sharing food, and I love music, I love gardening, and I'm a visual artist, and all of those things come into the way I entertain. And I'd really, I can't have every person in the world around my table, but I'd really like to show them how that they can do that for their friends and their family.
It's going to be a dinner party freak coming in 2025. Yeah. Just kidding. It's cool. You clearly have a strong point of view when it comes to entertaining, and really nice to meet you, Jess.
Yeah, this was so fun. It was so nice talking with you.
Jess Damuck, thank you for joining the Taste Podcast.
Thank you.
The Taste Podcast is hosted by me, Matt Rodbard. It's produced by Pat Stango and edited by Clayton Gumber. Theme music by Steve Rydell. Visit Taste online at tastecooking.com and make sure to subscribe to our newsletter. Thanks for listening.